Hello, Clipper Nation. Can you hear me? I think you can. Katie Newton finally put my mic up. It's still kind of low. I wish it was a little bit higher. But she gets off on being controlling. She just turned my mic off for reals. It's like the cardinal sin. Oh, put the switch that thing over while I'm here and doing everything. Why don't you switch that? No, the game box, the blue box. Ah!
I want to send you to the box.
Clippers in Houston.
And let me just real quick. Hey there, you can hear me. Adam is our guy here is doing a little bit of pregame live streaming to the listeners, so you can ignore anything you hear for the next.
Just ignore the man behind the curtain.
I'm just telling our people down the line.
It's Jeff Goldblum in Wicked.
Oh, you're a musical guy?
You know me.
Apparently, I don't.
Why is no one coming in here yet? Tell me we're live. Tell me we're live while telling me we're live. Can you guys hear me? Clippers in Houston. First of two. Texas two-step. Taking on the Rockets. They're doing it again on Friday. And yeah, then they're back. Sunday, Monday, back to back, to be specific. I'm excited about this one. Clipper Nation, are you excited? Are you in the chat? Can you let me know if we're up and running? Can somebody respond?
It's the middle of the day, Adam. People have jobs.
If a tree falls in the forest, if Adam speaks on the radio, no one's listening, or on the YouTube side, loud and clear. Okay, thank you.
People have jobs. The only ones who are there right now are probably like people like us without real normal jobs, or the people who are international.
I forgot. Most people have real jobs. Sly Boo said loud and clear. Sly Boo, where are you coming from?
Lunch break.
Pregame show starting in 4 minutes here. Sunken City Clips, as I hear you.
Oh, Sunken City.
I read you.
See, under the sea.
Under the sea, under the sea.
Sunk? Oh, God!
Darling, it's better. Now, those are the musicals I like. The big four. That would be The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Lion King, and before that, Aladdin. That's your big four of Disney movies right there. That is some heavy hitters. Fox and the Hound's also great. But that's not a musical, I don't think. Are there any songs?
No. Well, I mean, there's the saddest song. But they're not singing it.
I love Fox and the Hound. With Big Mama.
Oh, God.
It is really sad. But they had babies or whatever after, I think. Something happened. There was some silver lining. What else did I like from back then? Little John and Robin Hood run through the forest. Hollywood a day. Yeah, it goes like that. That's a musical. Okay, it's not a musical. It's good songs. Sly Boo in San Diego. Hey, San Diego Clippers. Back up.
So he's watching on the clock.
How many of you guys are at work and finding ways in the break room to get away to watch the Clippers or listen to this fabulous pregame show that's about to start?
Well, you'll have to type it to you because I want to see if Carlo's there.
All right, I gotta go, guys. Ready in 2. Welcome into Clippers Countdown. As your 6-5 LA Clippers are in game one of a two-game mini-series in Houston. The Texas two-step against the Houston Rockets, who haven't exactly hit the ignition switch yet, but they're still 7-4 on the season while being a top three defense in the league that has held up an offense that remains grounded for now as their three-point shooting is near the bottom of the NBA. Meanwhile, your Los Angeles Clippers are near the top as they had just hit 23 pointers against the OKC Thunder Monday night. But the only problem was they had 24 turnovers and would ultimately, I guess, hurt their own 20-point comeback. They came up short. Here was Coach Lue post-game after their 134-124 loss to the Thunder.
We talked about it before the game. You can't have 24 turnovers, against elite teams and expect to win the game. That's just way too many, especially against a team that, can score the ball the way they score the basketball. And so we score 131 points, but you still got 24 turnovers. So we just can't do that and then miss 9 free throws as well. So I liked our fight. I liked our, our scrap. We just got to be smarter with the basketball and do a better job of when we get into the paint, making sure we're securing the basketball and making the right play.
Sometimes that means just making the simple basketball play, which will be necessary against the Houston Rockets team with a third best defense in the league. Tip time between the Clippers and Rockets from Toyota Center in Houston is just about 58 minutes away. Coming up on the show, we'll hear from an assistant coach. Law Murray will be here from The Athletic. But up next is your radio voice of the Clippers and Carlo Jimenez as you're listening to the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers in H-Town taking on the Houston Rockets. A little Texas two-step action. They play them again on Friday. That will be a cup game. Welcome back in. I'm Adam Moslin. This is Clippers Countdown, the official pregame show of your Los Angeles Clippers. Still to come, you're going to hear from assistant coach Dante Jones. But first, joining us from Toyota Center in Houston would be your radio voice of the Clippers and Carlo Jimenez. Carlo, my guy, how are we doing?
Adam, it is great to hear from you. Great to talk to you. Great to be here. I miss you, but you know what? The Clippers road trip must continue. Here we are in Harden's place where he became a hero with an opportunity to etch his name into the history book. So excited for this one today.
James Harden back in his old stomping grounds. Same with KPJ. Clippers taking on the Rockets. Let's go back to what happened in OKC, though, on Monday night. Clippers stormed back after being down by as many as 20. They would lose by a final score of 134-128. but the turnovers kept them from winning a ball game where they went for a season high 20 made three-pointers on 54% shooting from the outside. We still found some positives, though, post-game, because that OKC Thunder defense is legit. They are that good, even without Chet Holmgren. And this Clippers team was able to put up 128 points while they had all those self-inflicted wounds.
Yeah, I mean, it really was impressive, Adam, with this team and their ability to be able to fight in that game, to continue to be in that game, and to feel like they had a chance to win. I mean, it was a 3-point game late in that fourth quarter, and despite all the Clippers' issues with trying to figure out ways to be able to hang on to the basketball, it really does feel like, Adam, a one-pill team. They just need one fix, and that's hanging on to the basketball. And who knows where they could be on the offensive and the defensive end, because the more you turn it over, the harder it is to get back on the defensive end. The more you turn it over, the less shots you're going to have on offense. So Clippers really can solve a lot of issues if they have an opportunity to hang on to the basketball. And they're going to have another tough test today. This is a Houston team that's got some great defensive players off the bench in Amen Thompson and Tari Eason. So it'll be tough for this Clippers group, but stuff to learn about. I think the positive, though, here, Adam, is there is one issue that can solve a majority of your problems.
Yeah, take care of the basketball, clean up some of your self-inflicted wounds and those mistakes that just right now, 11 games in, I think they're still working on a few things. They got to tighten things up, but this will be a great test against Houston, who is a top 3 defense, and they're the best with keeping you out of the paint when it comes to opponent paint scoring, by the way. But back to the game against OKC here, Carlo. Norman Powell, Stormin' Norman got off to a slow start for once. We don't normally see that. He had, 29 points in the second half, 29 of his 31 points, and showed that even when he gets off to a slow start now, even against a team that have all the smalls and the guys you would want to be able to guard him, athletic wings, he still can get it going, and he just looked unstoppable in that second half.
Yeah, he really did. I think, Adam, through that first half, a lot of people were thinking, well, the Norman Powell run's been fun, and here he comes back down to earth. And then what does he prove? He goes for 29 in the second half, a career high for a single half for Norman Powell, and shows, I think, not only, Adam, this isn't a hot streak, it's a standard. Norman Powell is setting a standard right now with the way he plays on the offensive end, and his ability to somehow find his way back into that game, find an elite confidence in that game after hitting just 2 free throws in the first half. It was impressive. Clearly that meditative work, that book reading that he's been doing is paying off, because he was unfazed. Despite, Adam, having the worst first half of his NBA career, he has the best second half of his NBA career.
Chris Dunn was the lone guy that didn't turn the basketball over while having 8 assists in that loss to Oklahoma City on Monday night. In 28 minutes, he pulled down 9 points, 4 boards, 8 assists, 0 turnovers, couple of 3-pointers made. Chris Dunn has been absolutely exactly what the Clippers have been asking for from another role player that just doesn't make many mistakes, similar to Nico Batum.
No, and I think his numbers and minutes are just going to keep increasing, Adam, because when he's on the floor, good things happen for this Clipper team. He's able to find guys in transition. He alleviates a lot of pressure off James Harden. He's knocking down the 3-ball, which is really opening up the spacing on the offensive end for this Clipper team. He is just doing good things for this team right now, Adam. It seems like his free agent signing this summer, one of the bigger ones for this Clipper group. Him and both Derrick Jones Jr. had fantastic games against Oklahoma City, and you kind of saw what Lawrence Frank and Ty Lue envisioned when they put this group together and how they can be so dynamic defensively and still have that offensive firepower with the gravity that James Harden requires. He's finding guys like Derrick and Chris open again and again, and they're knocking down open shots.
Meanwhile, I mentioned how Norman Powell got off to that slow start but finished strong, as did Ivica Zubac, who ended up with 22 and 14 in the ball game after, I think, just taking 2 shots in the first half. They finally got him unlocked and unglued a little bit. It was late in that third quarter where they made a big run. Ivica Zubac was out there on the floor, and they were taking advantage of his size against OKC, playing some small ball because, well, it was out of necessity. But I think that might be the most encouraging thing to me. Getting Ivica Zubac going against a team with that level of defense while they're playing small, you would think it would be easy, but when doubles and triple teams come and you're just junking up the game a little bit, it's not that easy to do. And the Clippers finally figured it out late.
Yeah, credit Jalen Williams. His 7'2" wingspan made it hard for Zubac to catch, but I love what Ty Lue did at him. He was able to match up the minutes for Ivica Zubac with Jalen Williams off the floor. Take advantage of them not having any size on the floor, and Ivica Zubac got big-time buckets underneath. He was able to catch high, keep the ball high, finish high, open underneath the rim. His teammates were looking for him on the offensive end, and everything was easy money for Big Zoo. So super impressed with the way he played. The Clippers need to find him again today. You have another finesse big in Alperen Şengün. Now, he's not 6'6", he's 6'11", but maybe somebody who Zubac can use that big frame against, 240 pounds, to muscle his way inside. And he played bully basketball, Adam. He played bully basketball in the second half. Ivica Zubac needs to be the bully for the Clippers.
Clippers taking on the Houston Rockets. Tip-off is just about 50 minutes away. Carlo Jimenez is on the call as the Clippers look to bounce back. But coming up next, Carlo's got his one-on-one interview with assistant coach Dante Jones of the Clippers. You're listening to the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers in Houston taking on the Rockets. Tip-off is just about 47 minutes away. Welcome back in. I'm Adam Osland. This is the official pregame show of your Los Angeles Clippers. It is Clippers Countdown. Still to come, we'll go back in time in Clippers Rewind and take things back to 1993. But first, we're heading back over to your radio voice of the Clippers and Carlo Jimenez.
Thank you so much, Adam. Here with assistant coach Dante Jones before the Clippers take on the Houston Rockets. Coach Norman Powell goes for 29 in the second half last game, a career high and a half for him. What does it tell you about a player when he's able to work through a rough first half and then be excellent in the second half?
Well, he was patient in the first half to where the game didn't come to him. He stayed within the flow of our offense. He did what we asked him to do. And then the second half, it just flowed and the shots started to come. He started being aggressive and taking advantage of the opportunities that came to him. He's an efficient scorer, so when he has moments like that, they seem overwhelming to other teams.
Chris Dunn had 8 assists and didn't commit a single turnover in that game. How does he alleviate pressure off a point guard like James when he's able to get guys involved on the offensive end?
Yeah, he's a special guy to add to our rotation because he can play on the ball, play off the ball. He can guard multiple positions. When he's out there with James, he can be another ball handler to put James in some awkward situations where defenders can't load up on him or pick him up full court. He can make the game easier for our scorers like Norm and James. So he's a unique asset that doesn't turn the ball over, always composed and makes shots.
Derrick Jones Jr. has been working on his three-point shot. His three-point percentage has been excellent this season. How have you seen him put in the work to be able to shoot 44% this year?
Yeah, he's taking advantage of every opportunity to get better this year, whether it be before practice, after practice. Him and Coach Jay Larinaga have spent time on his form and is showing with not only with his percentage, but how aggressive he is in taking shots that are available to him. He feels more comfortable, so he takes more shots, and that gives him a better chance to be successful.
How important is it for guys like Derek and Chris to be great three-point shooters for this team to find success?
It's extremely important for Derek and Chris to be good three-point shooters because they open the floor up for our dynamic scorers like James and Norm. And when Kawhi comes back, it just alleviates a lot of pressure from those guys. They get to work in bigger spaces rather than teams loading up and putting them in smaller spaces. And when those guys make shots, it has to keep the defense honest.
Just two more for you, but the Clippers have played the second toughest strength of schedule through the opening 11 games. How can that help you versus playing maybe a softer strength of schedule through your first 11 games?
Adversity is always good for a team that's trying to find their identity. Defensively, we've tried to hang our hat on just being a tough, disciplined defensive team. So being in a part of the schedule where it's tough and it's kind of adverse and it's not the circumstances that you don't want, they allow us to get these kind of calluses on us so when it comes time to playoff time or times to just grow gradually, then we'll be prepared.
When you were a player, how important were those experiences? Would that be something you would lean on when you have a tough clutch game and then come playoff time, you're in a similar situation?
Definitely. Games like the ones we've been having against tough teams and going out to the wire, we've been up, we've lost leads, we've gained them back. Those teams help us define our identity, show where our weak spots are, and then grow off them on a daily basis.
Thank you so much, Coach. Best of luck.
Of course.
Carlo Jimenez there with Dante Jones, assistant coach with the Clippers pregame, as we're just about 44 minutes away from tip-off. Clippers taking on the Houston Rockets. Coming up next, we'll go back in time in Clippers Rewind right here on the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Let's go. Clippers taking on the Rockets in Houston. Tip-off is just about 40 minutes away. Welcome back in. I'm Adam Oslin. This is Clippers Countdown. Still to come here on your pregame show. We'll get your player to watch. We'll also get to Lob Murray of The Athletic. But first, we're going back in time in Clippers Rewind. Over 30 years here to May 8th of 1993. Biggest movie out was Indecent Proposal with Robert Redford and Demi Moore and Woody Harrelson. Biggest song at the time was Informer by Snow. Of course, Petros Papadakis always likes to reference that. The Clippers were in an epic first-round series, though, against the Rockets.
We are just underway. Smith changed his mind. Good look for Thor. Smith has done a good job accepting it as Stanley Roberts shows the mobility from the top of the circle. Nice move by Thor, following the fling by Ori. Lajarod, yes. And Houston has a 3-point lead. Connor got it off. It counts. Harper opens for 3. Yes. Smith for 3. Kenny Smith brings the 3-pointer. 2 minutes and 35 seconds to go. Fourth quarter. Harper knocks it away. Here's Jackson. Manning off the dribble. And he hits a big shot. Harper all the way. Yes, and it counts. Ron Harper will go to the line. And it's Smith working ahead of the field. Harper able to save it. Fires. Rebound. Roberts. And he shoots. And that is it. They celebrate at the summit. The Houston Rockets hold on and beat the Los Angeles Clippers. They take the series in 5.
Yeah, the Clippers were losing 5 games. That was, of course, the maximum amount you could play back then in a first-round series, but that Game 5 was special. The Clippers were battling Hakeem, Kenny Smith, and a Rockets team that would go on to win back-to-back championships in the next couple of seasons. Of course, your Clippers that year, Danny Manning, he had 24 and 12 in that ball game. Ron Harper was on that team, Kenny Norman, Mark Jackson, Stanley Roberts. It was a fun team that gave the Rockets all they could handle back in 1993 in the first round. Clippers taking on the Rockets from Toyota Center tonight. Tip-off is just about 38 minutes away. Coming up next, your player to watch right here on the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers in Houston taking on the Rockets. Thanks to Bob Smith for the promo. I didn't even request it. Bob's just like that. Clippers and Rockets tipping off just about 35 minutes away. I'm Adam Osland. Welcome back in. This is the official pregame show of your Los Angeles Clippers. Still to come, La Murray of The Athletic will be here. But before any of that,
this is LA Clippers basketball.
Watching this guy play right now is really something.
Players to watch.
all right. I'm looking at a returning Houston Rocket who is a legend there, of course, the bearded wonder. James Harden back in Houston. Yes, he has shot poorly so far this season. He's also being asked to do a lot. He has his highest usage rating since the 2019-2020 season. I think the last year he was with the Houston Rockets, at least for a full season. So he's also their second highest rebounder at over 8 per game, while playmaking, being the floor general, getting everybody station to station on the offensive side and making things happen there with either ISO play or high pick and roll with Ivica Zubats. He is the system. But the OKC Thunder, well, they made it clear that teams still know if you slow down James Harden, you can slow down the Clippers because well, he's the straw that stirs the drink, the catalyst, the engine. And I want to see how the Houston Rockets defend him tonight and if James Harden can get going offensively because he has struggled. He's getting 21 points per game, but he's shooting under 40% from the field and around 30% from three. That is unlike James Harden. He may be due for a hot shooting night in Houston against his former squad. Tip-off is just about, 34 minutes away. Clippers, Rockets from Toyota Center. Up next, your injury report right here on the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Around New York. Clippers in Houston taking on the Rockets. Tip-off is just about 32 minutes away here on Clippers Countdown. I'm Adam Osland. Welcome back in. Coming up, we got La Murray of The Athletic. He'll be joining me. But first, let's get to your injury report. Well, we got a little bit of news earlier. Speaking of La Murray, talking with Coach Lou pregame about, well, who else? The Claw, Kawhi Leonard. So apparently he is progressing right now. Out for the next week. Clippers do have a 4-game homestand after Houston. They're taking all the necessary steps to try and get him back. Not sure when or if he will practice or return to practice this month now. There is your Kawhi Leonard update. Mo Bamba, well, he was in the G League, so I wouldn't be shocked if he's back with them when they return to LA on Sunday. As for the Houston Rockets, they are without, it looks like Steven Adams in this one. He's questionable. He's had a knee injury. He has had a knee injury for over the past season. Jock Londale, he is probable with a shoulder injury. We will see. They have a really good defense regardless, guys. They are top 3 on that end. This is not going to be an easy one for your Clippers. They take them on twice. Again on Friday. That will be an NBA Cup game. Coming up next, we got La Murray of The Athletic. Talk more about Kawhi Leonard. Oh, and it looks like there was a change to the starting lineup. Something I was just talking about yesterday. We'll get to that right here on the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers in Houston taking on the Rockets. Tip-off is just 28 minutes away here on Clippers Countdown. Welcome back in. I'm Adam Osland. Coming up, we'll get to an NBA out-of-town scoreboard. But now let's get to your Media Roundtable segment, brought to you by Prize Picks. Download the app today and use code KLAC to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. Join the show is our friend La Murray of The Athletic, breaking news left and right once again, as he loves to do. La, how are you, my friend?
I feel good. I'm trying to make myself at home in Houston since I'm going to be here until Saturday. So it's good to be here in Space City.
All right, let's start with this. Something I talked about yesterday with some urgency. I thought it could be possible that Terrence Mann is out of the starting lineup. Tell me what you know about the situation.
I mean, the situation is just that the numbers just spoke for themselves. It took 11 games for the Clippers to not have a double-digit lead in a game. And the hole that they had put themselves in, I think that was kind of it. I mean, the way they started that game Monday night in Oklahoma, trying to get the ball inside, just the absolute collapse of, just anytime Zoo tried to get it, like the undersized Thunder just kept slapping down. And so you saw also what helped the Clippers get back into that game. Nicholas Batum didn't play in the second half, but Chris Dunn did. I thought it was interesting that once the Clippers got down 20, T. Lue subbed out Zoo and went with Chris Dunn. And Chris Dunn has just spearheaded so many runs for this team. And so there's pros and cons, obviously, to Chris Dunn starting. I thought Chris was great with the second unit. I thought Chris, you want to manage his minutes because durability has been a concern with him over the course of his career. Yeah. Just simply put, like, as good as Chris Dunn can be, sometimes you don't want to disrupt things too much. But the starting five, just, I think, like you mentioned, it was probably just the last straw.
Yeah, they've been a minus 35 and I think 160 minutes or so, the starting 11 games into this season. Now, Chris Dunn in place of Terrence Mann. The numbers are good. It's also a very small sample size. In 12 minutes so far with him next to the other four starters, or in 13 minutes, they are a plus 12. So I think this is interesting that it's happening in Houston a little bit, because when they brought in Chris Dunn, I felt like this could happen because it's reminiscent of Patrick Beverley playing next to James Harden in the starting backcourt like he used to have. Do you see any parallels there?
I mean, this team has always been looking for a point of attack guy ever since not just since Pat Bev was traded, but his last year, Patrick Beverley's last year with the Clippers, the big issue with him was that he was not available enough. He wasn't healthy to do what he needed to do as a starter. We're talking about a guy who he had some knee issues in the beginning of that year, came back, had more knee issues at the All-Star break, came back, broke his hand. Pat had a really difficult last year, but every time he was out, you would hear guys like Nico Batum say, "We really miss Pat Bev. We really miss that guard." Because the Clippers didn't have another guard like that on the roster back in the 2021 season. They didn't have another guard like that.
Yeah.
So with Chris, it's like Chris has been great. He has been great on the floor. He's been great in practice. His voice is carried. His energy and enthusiasm has been great. He really appreciates this opportunity to play the game. So this is a great opportunity for him, and it's just a matter of how much can you play him. You know, he's been good on the floor, knowing that he comes in as a spark, as someone who's going to not play more than 25 minutes, more than likely, and give it all he's got. What does him being in the starting lineup mean for his effectiveness if he gets more minutes? That's what I'm looking to see.
Yeah, and I'm wondering about that second unit where it had been KPJ next to Chris Dunn, next to Amir, next to Batum, next to Ivica Zubac. They were plus 10 in about 50 minutes. Coach Lou's gone to them a lot. Do you think they'll bring out Chris Dunn after the first 4 or 5 minutes in the first quarter to get him back to start the second quarter with those guys still?
I think that's something to look for. I mean, that was a sub pattern that you saw with Terrence, and honestly, I think Chris is more of the constant here.
Mm.
I think this is more about Terrence, to be honest with you. I mean, they knew that Chris was going to be Chris. You know, they looked at Chris Dunn as a possible starter to begin the preseason. You know, and that preseason game, I hate it when people say, "Oh, preseason doesn't matter." Like these preseason games are just throwaway games. Like these preseason games aren't against teams that they're going to see very soon, or teams that they need to be, they need to see how they match up. It was against the Warriors, a team that the Clippers will see next week, and a team that they will see, that they saw early in the season. So like they love to see Chris Dunn guarding Steph Curry specifically. I think Chris is the constant. Terrence obviously has gotten off to a tough start this season. How he fits in has been difficult. So I think they know what they're getting out of Chris, and I think really this is about, let's see if this energizes or gives Terrence Mann more to do, puts the ball in his hands more, and gives him an opportunity to do what this team needs him to do.
So you talk with Coach Lou also about Kawhi Leonard. People are asking the question, what does this mean when Kawhi is coming back? Initially, everybody thought, of course, he's going to replace Mann in the starting lineup. Is it still that way where he would just slot in for Chris Dunn going back to the bench?
I think that is the expectation, but I just feel like, I don't mean to put a damper on things. I mean, I just feel like expectations for Kawhi need to just be depressed at this point. Like significantly depressed and decreased. If he gets back on the practice floor this month, I think that's great. I can't see him playing in the game this month. I mean, I know what I said last month about, hey, like maybe November. I'm just not there anymore. Like, I'm not saying he's had anything wrong happen. I just don't think that the benefit of doubt is there for any party involved. So if anything you get from Kawhi this month is a bonus. When he gets back on the floor and gets back in the lineup, you're not getting an all-NBA player. You're getting a guy who's trying to work his way back. I think we need to start looking at Kawhi in that regard. It's not like Kawhi's going to be back. He's going to play 30 minutes. He's going to take 20 shots. Kawhi's back. Let's see how long it takes him to get back to that level of player that he has been.
So you're not saying there's been a setback. It's just taking
setback.
longer. It's
No,
just
no, no setback. Just a guy who's got a knee issue and has had a knee issue for months. Like, I think we just got to be realistic about it. We got to be real about it. I mean, I hate asking about Kawhi because the reality is, like, it's what is 100% for Kawhi? That does not exist. Like,
Yeah.
you got guys who are in perfect health in their 20s talk about getting to the playoffs and how they're not 100%. So why are we expecting that for Kawhi? Like, I think we should all just be holding our breath with Kawhi when he gets back, that he can actually be 100%. So, I hope Kawhi gets, continues to progress like everyone is saying, like Teron Lue has said. But, like, let him get back on his pace. Like, I'm not really. The team that you see on the floor right now is the LA Clippers team, and that's how people should be looking at it until Kawhi does get back, whenever that is.
So let's talk about this Clippers team that has been playing on the floor right now. Is it weird that I felt like there were a ton of positives to take away, even in that loss to OKC? Maybe more positives than I could take away from the win over the Toronto Raptors, just because if you could have 24 turnovers against that team and still be down by 2 late, I don't know. I feel like that is some progress there.
Yeah, like, I think people need to lighten up, to be honest with you. I got my mentions up here asking me about, like, treating all these games like, I'm announcing the damn White House cabinet. Like, it's not that. I mean, it's not to say it's not that serious. Like, every game matters, and the passion I appreciate. Like, I care, you guys care. I think that's important. But, like, all these games, it's 1 out of 82. They're data points. And I think the important data point for Monday night was, yes, in a game where they basically threw the game away in the second quarter with 10 turnovers, a game where against that same Thunder team at home, they failed to even break 100 points. They found a way to adjust and get comfortable and understand what it took to cut 18 points off of that lead. And that's huge. I wrote Monday morning at The Athletic, this team doesn't turn the ball over, and that's a good offensive team. Not an okay offensive team. Oh, that's a good offensive team hiding in there. I've always said Teron Lue, Teron Lue, James Harden, like, those guys know good offensive basketball. Even if they have coached offenses that are rocky, and even if James is having a very difficult season as far as his efficiency and ball control, like, look at how many guys are playing great right now on that team. Guys shooting really well, guys performing at a all-star level, guys having career years. And so all they got to do is take care of the ball. This is a good shooting team. This is a team that understands they have to hit the paint to be successful. This is a team with more athleticism, better transition than the teams that you've seen in the past. And they still have guys who know how to get to the free throw line. You have guys who are getting more comfortable as time goes on. I think that Thunder team, that Thunder game, offensively, was kind of the epitome of what you've seen from the Clippers all season. It was an absolutely horrible defensive performance, and there's not much I can take away from that. Maybe stop fouling, maybe get a better whistle, whatever you want to call it. I'm moving on from that. But I think offensively, this team continues to progress. And I think a game like Monday night is, I think, yeah, they lost. There's no real moral victories, but there is a silver lining of just trust the past, trust the process, not to be a 76er here, but understand that if you take care of the basketball, you're going to get good shots.
Law, I get this a lot. Crazy stuff in the chat. I'd like someone else to answer these things for once. Should they trade Terrence Mann and Ivica Zubac for Ben Simmons and Claxton?
I don't think y'all watch Ben Simmons, like, or Nick Claxton for that matter. So, yeah, I'm not gonna entertain that.
I'm sorry. I appreciate you. Last one. This game against the Houston Rockets, where can they really pose a threat to the Clippers?
The Rockets lead the NBA in field goal attempt differential. Here's what that means. That is an objective stat about they take more shots than you. And why is that?
Offensive
Because
rebounds.
they take care of the basketball for the most part, and they crash the offensive glass, and they force turnovers. What do we talk about with the Clippers all the time? Their inability to take care of the basketball. The Rockets are a lot like the Oklahoma City Thunder. They're going to be physical. They're not as good. They're actually more likely to foul you. But if you don't handle their physicality well, and you don't make aggressive moves, and you don't play with the right intention, then especially on the road where the officials are, let's just be real, the officials are always going to officiate games kind of depending on where they are and who they're officiating. The Rockets don't have stars. The Clippers have to play like they have stars, and they got to be smart. They can't. They have to be poised when it comes to the basketball. The Rockets are physical, and they are absolutely going to get in these guys' faces. And we have 2 games here, so whatever happens tonight, there will be carryover Friday night for the Cup game.
Clippers taking on the Houston Rockets. He is Lob Murray of The Athletic. His latest is a power rankings in the NBA. Where do we put him as a writer? I'm going to say number 1 in my power rankings. Law, thanks for doing this once again.
Hey, thank you, Adam. Enjoy the games and stop listening to all those damn podcasts.
Except this one. Except this one's cool, guys. It's cool. All right, coming up next, we'll get to an NBA out-of-town scoreboard. Tip-off just 15 minutes away from Toyota Center. Clippers taking on the Houston Rockets, and you're listening to the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers and Houston Rockets from Houston. Tip-off just 13 minutes away. Welcome back in. I'm Adam Osland. Let's get to your NBA out-of-town scoreboard. Brought to you by Toyota's electrified lineup, including hybrids, plug-in hybrids, all electrics, and even fuel cell electric vehicles. You can choose exactly the type you need for your lifestyle. We make it easy. Early second quarter in Orlando. Pacers up 38-30 on the Magic. Pascal Siakam with 9 points in that one already. A couple other games just tipping off. As it's weird whenever the Clippers are, closer to the East Coast. The time change throws me off. Yeah, teams are tipping off right about now. That's how it normally works, Adam. Boston Celtics in Brooklyn. Early first quarter, 11-5. Celtics down by 6. Cleveland Cavaliers trying to go to 13-0 to start the season. They are in Philadelphia. No Paul George, no Joel Embiid. They trail by 1 midway through the first quarter. I think, 13-0 is going to look nice on them. Love you, Bob Schmidt. Coming up next, we'll get back to Carlo Jimenez right here on Clippers Countdown. Clippers taking on the Houston Rockets in James Harden's old stomping grounds. I'm Adam Osland, and you're listening to the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers taking on the Rockets in Houston. Tip-off just 9 minutes away. Welcome back in. I'm Adam Osland. This is Clippers Countdown. Coming up, your keys to victory. But first, back out to your radio voice of the Clippers in Carlo Jimenez. Well, Carlo, some people have been asking for it. I did ponder the question yesterday about Terrence Mann and if he could be taken out of the starting lineup, and it is happening right now. Hoping that gives him a little bit of a spark coming off the bench, just a different role, and he can find his groove again.
Yeah, maybe takes the pressure off him a little bit. Adam doesn't feel like he has to go out there and play perfect and prove he belongs in that starting lineup. I also think for this Clipper team, there's a different sense of urgency this season. I mean, this is the second straight year Terrence Mann has started a little bit slow. We've seen how packed the West can be. 3 games separated the 6 seed and the 10 seed last year. The Clippers, I think, feel that pressure. They feel like, look, we can't wait for guys to get going offensively. We've got to play who's hot now, and who's hot now is Chris Dunn with the way he's been playing.
And I also love him in the backcourt next to James Harden. It's something I wondered about all offseason. Would he be the guy to replace Terrence Mann possibly? It's happening, and it just feels like, well, you have another playmaker, a guy who will bring the ball up a lot, that also has that dog mentality, is a defensive stopper in the vein of Patrick Beverley back in Houston when James Harden was playing in the backcourt next to him.
Yeah, and if teams are going to do what Oklahoma City did on Monday and just take away James Harden and say, beat us 4-on-4, well, you need someone with some history playing the point guard position next to James Harden. That's what you get with Chris Dunn. You get another creator, somebody who makes the right decision. He was the lone Clipper not to have a turnover on Monday. Everybody else gave the ball to the other team. This is someone who's excellent on that side of the basketball and can be a great defensive stopper. He kind of fills the gaps the Clippers are looking for on that offensive and defensive end that sometimes can be a little bit proven to be, what am I looking for here? They're a little bit exposed for this Clipper team with some of the lineups they're out there.
Let's see if I'm really interested in Kevin Porter Jr. in this game. Back in Houston, it's not just James Harden with a bit of a homecoming, but obviously KPJ was there for a couple of seasons. I'm hoping he plays within himself and doesn't try to just go after his former team and try to get up 20 shots or anything like that and prove something in a negative way, but play within yourself as he has been more so the last 4 or 5 games now.
Yeah, this is the lone team in the NBA, Adam, that he does not have scored 40 points against, and he doesn't need to go for that tonight. I think the Clippers want to play within the system, get everybody involved, figure out ways to make sure Harden has a healthy usage rate for this Clipper team because it's a long season. And while these games might be in November, you're going to feel them in April if Harden's playing 39 minutes a game. The Clippers have to manage minutes. All those minutes add up. The advantage is here, you don't have to travel tomorrow, so maybe the Clippers feel like they have a little more leeway because despite being on the road, everyone's sleeping in the same bed, but still, James Harden, got to make sure the Clippers have him under check. You cannot allow things to get out of hand.
James Harden, my player to watch in this one for the Clippers. Carlo, who do you got?
That's a great question. And Adam, I think I got to go with a guy starting for the first time.
Oh.
Chris Dunn as my player to watch. Dunn hasn't started a game since March 21st of last year. And the question will be, can he get back to being comfortable in that starting role? Did start about 23 contests last year with the Utah Jazz. This isn't something he's not familiar with, but for this Clipper team, can he still be effective at him on the offensive end and defensive end? That's been the key with Chris Dunn. I mean, he has been a great defensive stopper, and he's been able to knock down threes.
Looking for a shot, staying aggressive out there. Clippers in Houston taking on the Rockets. Carlo Jimenez is on the call. Tip-off just 5 minutes away. We'll let Carlo go for now. Coming up next, we'll get to your keys to victory right here on the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers in Houston taking on the Rockets. Tip-off just moments away. Let's get to your keys to victory. Houston Rockets have the third best defense in the league. One of the reasons is, well, they are the best with keeping opponents out of the paint. Fewest points against per game in opponent paint points. Clippers have to be sound there, take care of the basketball, still be aggressive, not get intimidated. Houston has some athletes. That OKC game may have been a good tune-up for what they're going to see in this one. But the Houston Rockets struggle from three. Offensively, they get by on turning over the other team, getting into transition a little bit, and, of course, offensive rebounds. But they aren't shooting it well from distance. They are a bottom three team from three at 31%, the Houston Rockets. Clippers, meanwhile, they're top three when it comes to three-point shooting right now. They are that good from the outside because over the last 5 games or so, they have shot 48% from distance. So, clash of styles. Clippers knocking them down from the outside. Houston, not so much. Keep Houston at 31% from three, please. Clippers in Houston taking on the Rockets from Toyota Center, and tip-off is coming up next right here with Carlo Jimenez on the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network.
The Clippers are in H-Town taking on the Rockets with the former hero of the city, James Harden, on their side. So glad you could be with us for this one. The Clippers will look to improve to 4-1 on the road. They've won 9 of the last 10 against this young Rocket team, but it's not the Rockets of the old. The Rockets have won their last 5. They've improved to 7-4 on the season. It's their